Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm not sure how to start this. We have a government leader who is wanting to move a bill forward, who says, I will answer one question and then I will not answer any more questions. We have, excuse me, did you want to continue debate? Thank you. Senator Gold said, and Hansard will show that he said he would refuse a second question. Now he's saying time ran out. Again, that is somewhat fudging the truth, Senator Gold. You said you would not accept a second question. I find that very disconcerting when the government leader refuses to answer questions from members opposite, and yet he is the one that is a defender of democracy. Hallelujah. Thank you that Senator Gold finally came to the chamber to defend democracy, because I don't know how this chamber could possibly have operated for the last 150 plus years without Prime Minister Trudeau's appointments, independent appointments that have voted 96% in favor of the government, and yet sit in this chamber and say they are independent over and over again. We have still 4, maybe 5 senators left who have admitted that they would love to still be in a Liberal caucus. But because of Trudeau's wonderful reformed Senate, they have chosen to go to their own caucuses. And we've had a few members leave, and they now vote occasionally for Liberal budgets. I don't understand that either. I really do not understand where this Senate has improved in the last few years. My most memorable times in this Senate were my spats with my good friend, Senator Terry Mercer, who was every bit as partisan as I am. Senator Ringett knows that. So does Senator Cordy. So does Senator Massicott. They know how partisan Senator Mercer was. And yet we were best friends because we understood this was a political chamber. And we had 2 political parties here that went toe to toe and debated legislation. And on occasion brought in time allocation. I, for the life of me, don't understand why Senator Gold is somehow trying to frame this as we are opposed to time allocation. We are not. We have supported time allocation many times. As Senator Carignan, we got appointed on the same day in 2009, Senator Seidman. We have seen time allocation. We supported it on our side, and we have supported it on the other side. That's not the issue, Senator Gold. The issue is you have no right. The Constitution, the rules of the Senate say you have no right. You sit there one day as, I'm an unaffiliated senator. I'm an independent senator. I'm not a member of the government. But yet, you are carrying the water of the government, and you are here telling us you have the right. No, you don't. I read the rules today. It doesn't matter how badly we want to change those rules. What you did today, government leader, is you forced our Speaker to rewrite the rules. That is what you, government leader, will go down in history as. You forced our Speaker to rewrite the rule. Because it doesn't matter what the Speaker says on this issue, it doesn't change what the rules say. And the rules say recognized parties. You are not part of a recognized party. You can't have it both ways. One day I'm part of a recognized party, one day I'm a government representative, the next day I'm a government leader. Today I will answer your questions. Tomorrow when you question me about CBC, I will say, well, I don't answer for CBC. Someday, Senator Gold, you're going to have to accept what you are, admit what you are.
To be or not to be.
I would not want to repeat what Senator Delphone said. Somebody might again suggest it's unparliamentary language. But Senator Delphone alluded to something like, if it quacks like a duck and swims like a duck, it's probably a duck. As I said earlier, we plan fully, so I'm going to put everybody here on notice. We plan fully on asking that Senator Gold be restyled as the leader of the government in the Senate. Because that is what he professed to be today. Yes, I agree, Senator Lankin, we finally got it. That is what the Speaker said today. Senator Gold, you're going to have a hard time next week saying you are not the government leader. Again, we're not opposed to time legislation, to allocate time. Shortening debate on something that has gotten 6 hours of debate is not necessary. This bill got into the Senate. Well, there was a deal signed in the spring when we agreed to committee meetings in September. Now, the committee didn't meet. It became evident in November that more meetings were needed, including for Indigenous witnesses, that had been overlooked, as Senator Klein pointed out at that point at committee. Something the government did over there. They again neglected to consult with the Indigenous people, so now they have to slow things down. They broke their word. You say, I broke my word on a signed deal? You somehow only get certain facts there. You know why that deal was broken. I told you why that deal was broken. It was because the government of Canada, the Liberal Party of Canada, Justin Trudeau and his cronies, broke the deal in the other place. How long did it take the House? Message was sent on February 2nd. Amendments were known since December 14th. House adopted message March 30th, 3.5 months after Senator Gold, after amendments known. Debate on them started April 18th, and Senator Gold put an end to that on April 20th. And somewhere, this is the opposition's fault. And when the opposition does their job, as one of the great Liberal prime ministers of this country, Prime Minister Jean Chrétien said, the job of the opposition is to oppose. So we do our job, and members there say we're filibustering, we're doing this wrong, we're doing that. We're doing our job. I got sent to this place to do something. Senator Gold, you got sent here. You clearly feel you have gotten a mandate. You have gotten direction from the Prime Minister. And you're doing your job, and I respect that part of what you're doing. But why, colleagues, can you not accept and respect what the opposition is doing? We don't dislike individuals in this chamber. You know, one thing about Senator Mercer and I, when I attacked Senator Mercer in the chamber, he never took that personal. He never thought Don doesn't like Terry. This was a political exchange. And when the Senate was over, we went out and had a beer. We traveled together. We were on parliamentary associations together. For almost all of my time that matched Senator Mercer's time, we were on the same committees. And we dealt together on those committees, on agriculture, on transport. And we did great work on those committees. I have heard, I don't know how often today, that the Prime Minister has made this a more nonpartisan chamber. This chamber has never been as partisan as it is today, colleagues. It has not, and I don't say that as a shot at any senator here. But I cannot make an argument here without senators taking offense and saying, Don Plett's attacking me. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm doing. I'm attacking the Liberal Party of Canada because I believe they are the worst thing in the world for this country. I believe that. That's my belief. I respect yours, respect mine. I believe this Prime Minister is the very worst Prime Minister this country has ever had, and that includes his dad. And him and I didn't get along. But at least I felt when Pierre Elliott Trudeau was the Prime Minister, we had an adult in charge of our country. So I say that here, and that somehow is unparliamentary. And we're being bad people because we express our opinions, because we're political. You know, Senator Gold wants to have the power to do this. But he didn't have the power before now. And now our Speaker rewrote the rules to give him the power to cut off debate. And again, it doesn't matter how you feel about it. 2 hours ago, you did not have the right to do what you have now because the rules. One individual now rewrote the rules, whether you like that or not. Well, you can shake your head all you want. That is simply a fact of the matter. The rules are clear. When it says recognized parties, Senator Gold, it doesn't matter. That's not a big word to change. Recognized parties, recognized groups. I think Senator Delphon somehow used parliament or recognized groups having the same power and the same rights as recognized parties because the leaders of the recognized groups got a raise in pay. And Senator Gold gets $92,000 for being the leader of the government. I don't know where that plays into it. But the fact of the matter is that the other recognized groups do not have the same powers that the opposition has or the same power that the government has. And that was intentional. And Senator Harder was very much instrumental in opening up that Parliament of Canada Act, that Minister LeBlanc, who was here today, and many of us had conversation with the minister at that point, and he made commitments to me. I won't share them here, but he made commitments to me. And he said, this is what we want. This is as far as we want to go. This is as far as we want the chamber to go. They recognized 4 groups. They didn't want to go beyond that. They made it clear. Senator James St. Germain will attest to that. So will Senator Tanis, I'm sure, and Senator Cordy. They will attest to that's what Minister LeBlanc said. We don't want to go beyond that. If they wanted you to have the power that you now have gotten through the back door that you couldn't get through the front door, if they had wanted you to have those powers, they would have given them to you. They would have dealt with them. Senator Lankin today said, why send it to the Rules Committee? That's where things go to die. And we can't have a committee that works on consensus. Why? We had committees that worked on consensus when we had the most 2 partisan parties in Canada, and they were the only parties here, and we dealt with on consensus. Everything we did at CEBA, Senator Housakis, you were there. Senator Fury was there. Everything that was done at CEBA was done by consensus. And this was with 2 political parties.
It's true.
And now, all of a sudden, when we have a nonpartisan chamber, we can't deal on consensus anymore. Colleagues, think about that for a while when you say that you are making this chamber less partisan. Because you're not. I'm admitting what I am. I'm a conservative. I'm proud to be a conservative. I'm proud to have conservative values. And if you are proud to have liberal values, then stand up and say that. tell us that we are independent and we will vote our own way and then vote 96% of the time in favor of the government? Senator Gold indicated that he had a deal for this to be done. Madam Speaker. Sorry?
Okay. I was hearing a buzzing sound.
Somebody believes that they should be talking to me while I'm talking.
Maybe that China. Oh, I'm sorry, Don.
Senator Gold says that we had a deal, or at least he indicated a deal. My previous life, I did a lot of negotiating. I negotiated on behalf of municipalities. I negotiated on behalf of different organizations. And when there was a negotiation, there was two sides at least talking. The fact of the matter is, colleagues, the fact of the matter is, Senator Gold, yes, he did say, without question, Monday last, that he would like to have this bill passed last week, Thursday. No question, no denial there. No denial. Typically, Senator Gold asks Senator St. Germain first what she's planning on putting up for speakers. He then goes to me. He then goes typically either to Senator Tanis or Senator Cordy. He asks us for our opinions, and he did that. I won't share their opinions, I'll only share mine. I said, Senator Gold, we don't have a motion in front of us. You're asking me to tell you how many speakers we're going to have, and I don't have a motion. I would like that, and then I'm prepared to debate this. I'm prepared to discuss it. I don't think anybody can deny that that's the conversation. He didn't know why. One of the senators said, well, Don, it'll be a two-line motion. It doesn't take a long time. And I said, you're right. How long would it take you to write that? It would take my staff about 10 minutes. This government has had 2 weeks, and they haven't written this two-line motion. Why? I have to then get my suspicions up, my antenna up a little bit. Why are they not giving us that motion? It was a very simple thing. So I said tomorrow when I see that motion, because we were then told, well, you'll have it before midnight. Well, I didn't have it before midnight. My chief of staff did. But I was in bed when he got it. And God love him, he didn't wake me. And he waited till the next day and he gave me the motion. That day we debated that motion. Senator Tanis offered an amendment. The next day the government accepted that amendment. Talks were going on. Senator Gold called me about that amendment, whether or not we would support that. I suggested to him, let's at least wait till tomorrow. And then we probably will, but I would like to wait till tomorrow because I would like to contemplate, because I haven't talked to my caucus about that. I'm not wanting to put words in your mouth, Senator Gold. He said, okay, let me think about that. He called back and he said, no, we're planning on going ahead today. And I said, okay, Senator Gold, but we can't support that today. So we will take the adjournment. We will likely pass it the next day, which we did. We passed it next day. We didn't have a vote. We agreed to it. Senator Gold said, Don, I think you and I should talk further this week. And colleagues, I say this honestly, I did not believe that he was still thinking he was getting a bill on Thursday. And I said, yes, we should. And I would be happy to talk. I said, maybe we can talk before our leaders' meeting next Monday. And he said, well, I think we should talk earlier. I said, okay, maybe we can talk Thursday. But I said, Senator Gold, I hope you understand that we're not ready to call question on this on Thursday. I'll be the first one to admit that. But there's no negotiation there, colleagues. We haven't even started debate. We have not even started debate in this chamber. And he wants, in one day, for me to agree to something that has taken, what, 2.5 or 3 years of time? And in one day? How on this earth the Speaker could make a decision today on that is beyond me, because Senator Gold gave us less than 30 hours to deal with a bill that had been around for 3 years. Is this how rulings are supposed to be done? Again, it doesn't matter, colleagues, what side of a political spectrum we're on. We have an obligation to Canadians. The Conservative Party of Canada speaks for 7 million Canadians plus. We won the popular vote in the last 2 elections, colleagues. We have a duty, an honor-bound duty, to speak on behalf of those 7 million Canadians. And there will be more in the next election. We have a duty. And for us to be considered as people who are filibustering and as people who are not cooperating in the Senate because we are defending conservative values, I really find that disconcerting. I've been asked lately, and I know that many of you would encourage that I take the advice of some people and say, Don, why are you beating yourself over the head? Why don't you retire from the Senate? And I know there are probably those that would be happy to give me a welcoming or a going away present if I did that. But I said, well, you know, there's still more good days than bad. I still have hope. I said that to a couple that was in my office today. I still believe that I am speaking on behalf of many Canadians. And I want to continue to support those Canadians. I want to speak on behalf of those Canadians. But again, this is not about whether or not we support time allocation. I have never said, Senator Gold, that we don't. And I fully expected, Senator Gold, that if we did not move this bill forward in the next week or two, and you and I have had those discussions, Senator Gold, you and I have had those discussions just a few months ago when you offered, Don, if you need some help, I can probably help you. There was no question that we were anticipating that we will have a limited amount of time to debate this bill in this chamber before you would at least try time allocation. Would we have done the same thing that we're doing today at that time? Yes, we probably would have. We probably would have, because I still believe you don't have the right. By the rules, you don't have the right on a number of issues, and I pointed them out earlier. So we would have still made that argument. But you, Senator Gold, would have given us an opportunity, and you would have given Canadians an opportunity that you, Senator Gold, you are taking away from them, not the opposition. We are here ready to debate this. And yes, I presented an amendment the other day. I presented a very reasonable amendment, and that amendment was to simply go back to the government one time and say, we expect you to accept our amendments. That was the amendment. There was nothing untoward about that amendment. Now, fact of the matter is, we also all know procedures, and we needed to make sure that we wouldn't be, Senator Lankin and I go back to a private member's bill a few years ago, where she got the better of me. Full marks. I hold no grudges. So, do we have to make sure that that won't happen? Yes. So was that in any way an intention to filibuster this for 3 months? No. We knew full well, Senator Gold, that there would come a time when you would probably, unless we allowed this to go forward, you would do what you did tonight, and we would have hoped that we would have gotten what we believe was the right ruling. You obviously believe you got the right ruling, and that's fine. We'll do another battle on another day. But for you to do this after 6 hours of debate. 6 hours. Not on the very first day of debate. Refused to talk to the leader of the opposition. Refused to come to the leader of the opposition. When this happens, I talk to the House Leader in the other place all the time. When Mark Holland plans on doing time allocation, he lets Andrew Scheer know and the other House Leaders. What do? I come across the floor on Thursday, across the floor, right in front of your desk. And I say to you, Senator Gold, should we have a meeting? Now is not the time. Half an hour later, your notice of motion comes forward. And you suggest that we aren't to be trusted? That we aren't the honorable people? That I consider very, very questionable. I asked you at that time, should we meet? There was no reason. Whether that bill passed on Thursday or whether that bill passes today, this Thursday, or on Tuesday, or even next Thursday, what difference does that make? Unless the Prime Minister is running scared and he wants to get out of Ottawa for a while.
It's possible.
And he says, well, hey, Senator Gold, Senator Fury, you better help me out here. We can't be in Ottawa. So, well, you know, you're shaking your head. We'll see whether there's any relevance to that at all. Because other than that, Senator Gold, what difference on a bill that's been here for 3 years does another week make? I can't understand that. I can't understand that. You could have come to me, Senator Gold, at any point and said, Don, if you don't give me that bill by this time, I'm going to invoke time allocation. That would have been the professional, honorable thing to do. And I would have accepted that, and I would have stood here, and I would have probably torn my shirt like I am now, saying that you don't have the right to do that. But that, at least, would have been the proper way to do that, instead of backdooring. That doesn't go away. You suggest I broke a deal. No, the government broke a deal. And you know very well, and I won't even raise it, about the deal you broke to me one time, Senator Gold. So I would be very careful how often you tell me I broke a deal before I start talking about that one. Because that one was a whole lot more personal than this one. And you don't want that brought up on the Senate floor, Senator Gold. I would be a little careful in how often you tell me I have broken a deal. I broke no deal. The government broke a deal. The government did not do their consultations. So I said, Senator Gold, the government did not own up. They did not do what they were supposed to do. They did not do what they said they had done. So we can't go forward with this. And it had nothing to do with Pierre Poilievre's videos or Senator Housakis' videos. It had to do with standing up for Canadians. This is censorship gold on a censorship bill. And let me just finish off with this, because I'm sure, Madam Speaker, I must be nearing the end. But let me end off with this, Senator Gold. And you can turn around and say the same thing to me. You will reap what you sow. In the next election, you will reap what you sow. This Senate will again become a chamber of sober second thought, where people will respect each other. And that will happen after the next election, whether you like it or not. And people will again respect each other here, whether they are on one side of the government or on the other. We will have respect, even if we get angry like this over the course of the evening. We will go. I will fly Friday morning with a couple of my Manitoba colleagues, and we will rub shoulders and we will tell each other how much we love each other on the weekend. And then on Monday or Tuesday, we'll come back here and we'll do what we're doing today. Because that, colleagues, that is the way this chamber should work. Thank you very much.